Superman. The coolest thing that I find about Superman is that he can fly without any help from any gadgets or anything. He can just shoot up into the sky and fly anywhere he wants to, just like that. He is known for his super strength and his amazing ability to withstand great impacts to his body. Oh, and the X-ray vision, that's pretty cool too. He selflessly protects the city of Metropolis and makes a difference in the lives of its people by saving them from the bad guys in the city. He willingly puts himself in harm's way for people that he doesn't even know, and he doesn't think twice about it. Did you ever think to yourself, I want to be a superhero like that so that everyone will know my name? Or when you got older, did you ever say, I just want to be noticed? Or I just want to do something that people will remember me by? Well, why not do something? There's a quote from one of my favorite movies, Secretariat. It says, this is not about going back. This is about life being ahead of you, and you run at it, because you never know how far you can go until you run. If you want to be remembered, how far will you be willing to run? How much effort will you put forth? And how much motivation will you have to do what it takes to build your legacy? Let's step into the shoes, and by the shoes I mean the heels, of a beautiful young lady for a moment. She's standing tall and proud, but her hands are sweaty, her heart's racing. She's thinking to herself, is this even real? Her hair and makeup are flawless, and with her beautiful black dress with the sheer sleeves on, she looks like a princess. She's an 18-year-old African-American lady on the stage of the 1994 Miss America pageant. She anxiously awaits the results, and she watches as the envelope is handed to the announcer and the runner-ups are called. And the winner of the Miss America pageant is Miss Kimberly Aiken from Columbia, South Carolina. Once a princess with a dream is now a queen with her crown. And with a name like Miss America, the possibilities and opportunities are endless. Miss Aiken is a woman who had her mind set on one goal, and she knew of the hard work and dedication it would take to get there. As Miss South Carolina and as Miss America, Miss Aiken used her position, along with her skills and abilities, to put the needs of others before herself. Miss Aiken sets a fine example of a leader. A leader should have a servant's heart, as Miss Aiken demonstrated when she used her platform as Miss America to establish the HERO program, which allows homeless citizens to get back on their feet. A leader should not only have a servant's heart, but they should also be a hard worker and dedicated to achieving a goal. A leader should be willing to serve others and expect nothing in return. A leader should know what they believe in and be willing to fight for it. Each of us has the potential to be a leader like Miss Aiken. Each of you have the opportunity to be a leader in your FFA chapter, in your community, and in this state. You must be willing to step out of your comfort zone and take on the challenges and fears that every leader comes face to face with. Whether it be the fear of public speaking or the challenge of working with people you hardly know. You must take on those challenges and fears with a heart of determination and a smile on your face. FFA members, what will your first step be to get out of your comfort zone? What will you do to step up to the plate as a leader and make a difference? How will you be the change that you want to see? I'm sure many of us have wonderful examples of what a leader is, but I'm thinking of one particular story of a man who had the heart of a world changer. Picture this. There's a man on a long and difficult journey from a town called Jerusalem to a town called Jericho. Now this is way back in the day, before cars, paved roads, or a good pair of shoes. is just making his way along the path, minding his own business, when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a group of robbers come and strip him of his belongings, beat him, and leave him for dead on the side of the road. It just so happens that a priest comes down the same path that the injured man is on. But the priest passes by on the other side of the path for fear of becoming unclean. A few moments later, another man, a Levite, comes down the same path, but he also passes on the other side of the path. Finally, a third man, a Samaritan, comes down the same path, and when he sees the injured man, he has compassion. He has mercy on him and helps him. The Samaritan takes time out of his own journey to help the injured man and to see to it that the expense of taking care of the man's injuries is paid for in full. The Good Samaritan had a selfless heart, and he did what was needed for the man, and he expected nothing in return. He had a selfless heart. That kind of heart and mindset is what can change the world. The Good Samaritan is a world changer, and you can be a world changer too. If you have a passion for FFA, for agriculture, or anything else in this world, you cannot sit back and say, someone else will do it. You cannot say, someone else will take the lead. Someone else will figure it out. We cannot say that. No, we must be the world changers and make a difference in our homes, communities, state, and country. It is not enough to let life go by us. It is not enough to be sitting there stuck on our phones all day long with all those world-changing ideas stuck in our heads. It is time to take action and do something. I challenge you to leave your phone at home for a day, or at least a couple of hours. It will amaze you at how many world-changing opportunities you will find in everyday conversations you have with people you know, or in the simple tasks that you do every single day. Have you ever seen that commercial on TV about the Pass It On movement? It starts out by showing a man in an airport who sees someone drop something, so he goes over and picks it up for them. Then it shows a woman who saw what the man did, and it shows her holding the door for an elderly man. In turn, a young man who watched the kind lady's actions finds himself in a coffee shop, and he decides to buy some food for the homeless man sitting outside. FFA members and guests, if you want to be a difference maker like Miss Aiken, like Superman, or maybe even like the Good Samaritan, it starts with you and what you can do. Being a difference maker can start right here, right now. You don't even have to talk to people if that's not what you like to do. You can make a difference in someone's day by simply holding the door for someone. Or maybe just sharing a kind smile with someone who is looking down in the dumps. The commercial for the Pass It On movement resembles a chain reaction of kind deeds, of simple actions that speak louder than words. But for those who like friendly conversation or who just simply like to talk, you can be a difference maker and make a difference in someone's day by being a friend to someone who doesn't seem like they have a friend in the world. The first step to a conversation is listening. The next can be offering comforting words or advice. I know that I will not always have the right words to say, but I always try to be a friend and at least try to brighten someone's day. My hope and my challenge to you is that you will be the spark for the chain reaction of kind deeds that will change the world. So who will you become? Will you be a leader, a good Samaritan, a friend to someone who doesn't have one? How will you be the change that you want to see?
I want to live like that and give it all I have, so that everything you say and do points to you. Your love is who I am, and this is where I stand.
Candace. Your kindness, love for God, and passion for agriculture is contagious. This year, you truly show what it means to lead with a servant's heart, and I can't imagine it without your giggles, prayers, and support. Love always, Brandon, Kelly, Thomas, Katie, and Blair. South Carolina FFA, your 2015-2016 State Vice President, Candace Clinkscales.
That grace can really change a heart. Do I live like your love is true? People pass, and even if they don't know my name.
The honorary state degree is the highest degree a state can bestow upon supporters of the FFA. It is now time to recognize those who have achieved this degree. For the purpose of this ceremony, please welcome back to the podium State FFA President Katie Martin.
It is always a pleasure to receive honorary members into the FFA. The purpose of this ceremony is to recognize from time to time the efforts of others made in our behalf. Madam Secretary, please read the section of the National Constitution which provides for honorary membership.
Madam President, Article 5, Section E of the National Constitution states, honorary membership. Farmers, school superintendents, principals, members of Board of Education, chapter advisors, teachers, and staff members in agriculture education, business people, and others who are helping to advance agriculture education and the FFA and who have rendered outstanding service may be elected to honorary membership by a majority vote of the members present at any regular meeting of convention.
Thank you, Blair. Will the ushers please bring forward the candidates? And before we introduce these candidates, please give a warm welcome to Lane Holcomb from the Walhalla FFA chapter for a talent presentation.
Distance for 2-4.
Thank you, Lane. Madam Secretary, will you please introduce those who are to receive this honor?
Madam President, members, and guests, I am pleased to recognize the following individuals. Mrs. Judy Turner Fox. Mrs. Fox is the Public Relations Director for Lexington School District 3. Since 2004, she has had an important role in the success of the Batesburg-Leesville FFA chapter. As an avid FFA supporter, she serves as a liaison between the chapter, district, community, and other groups through the use of state and local media. Mrs. Fox has 2 daughters that were both active FFA members. She was instrumental in moving the Mrs. FFA pageant to Batesburg-Leesville and has helped to run the program for the past 7 years. Mrs. Fox is a true friend of agriculture education and the FFA. Tim Faulkner. As the owner of Twin F Farm, Mr. Faulkner has been a supporter of FFA chapters in Lawrence County for many years. He opens his farm up every year so that local FFA chapters can grasp the depth of the poultry industry in South Carolina. He has also helped to fund several FFA trips and train career development event teams. Mr. Faulkner served on the Clemson Extension Advisory Committee for a number of years and was a great supporter of agriculture programs within the upstate of South Carolina. He currently serves as a Lawrence County Young Farmers President and has stepped up to serve as the Upstate Vice President for the South Carolina Young Farmers and Agribusiness Association. Robert T. Yoder, Jr. Mr. Yoder has been the president of the Lancaster County Farm Bureau since 2011. Because of his leadership, all 3 Lancaster County agriculture programs have been funded to attend National Convention and the Sun Belt Agriculture Expo. In addition, each of the 3 schools were given 10 FFA jackets and ties, allowing students who could not afford their own jackets to be properly dressed for FFA events. Mr. Yoder is always on the lookout for ways to help students grow by making students aware of state and local scholarship opportunities. Mr. Josh McCall. Mr. McCall is currently an agriculture educator at Walhalla High School. He was a graduate of Clemson University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in agricultural education and a master's degree in educational leadership. Before teaching at Walhalla High School, he taught at Daniel Morgan Technology Center and Crescent High School. Mr. Ronnie Ford. Mr. Ford was a graduate of Fairmont High School in North Carolina. He earned a Bachelor of Science and a Master of Science degree in agricultural education at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. He has taught at 4 high schools during his 32 years in agricultural education. He currently teaches at Timberland High School and is proud of his student successes in tool identification, soil judging, and FFA Cree-speaking career development events. Mr. Kip Beam. Mr. Beam attended high school in Chester, South Carolina. He earned a bachelor's in animal science, pre-veterinarian science, and a master's in animal nutrition and teaching certification in agriculture. He has taught for 12 years at Chester County Career Center. Before that, he was the Clemson Extension agent for his area. During the 12 years at Chester, his Young Farmer chapter had 2 past presidents, 4 vice presidents, 3 Agribusiness Person of the Year, and 2 Farmer of the Year on the state level. He also had the 2011 Adult Program of the Year for South Carolina Association of Agriculture Educators, Region 5, and hosted the State Young Farmer Tour. This concludes our list.
I welcome you as friends of the FFA. It is my privilege as Sentinel to extend to each of you the symbolic handclasp of friendship and brotherhood.
As reporter, I am pleased to inform you that the FFA is a national youth organization whose purpose is to develop agriculture leaders. Welcome to membership.
Your contribution as useful citizens in our democracy serves as examples of our members to follow. As treasurer, I welcome you to our organization.
The FFA needs counsel and guidance from recognized leaders. It is my pleasure as secretary to add your name to our roll of honorary members.
As Vice President, I welcome you to the FFA. I would inform you that our members learn to appreciate the dignity of labor. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much.
On behalf of every member, I wish to say that we are proud to have you as honorary members. May this affiliation prove valuable to all. I impress upon you that we look for you to counsel and guidance. It is because of the great respect we have for you that you have been elected to honorary membership. May we always cooperate for a benefit of all. I now confer upon you honorary membership to the South Carolina FFA Association and present you with this token of membership.
Inspired by music and the piano since she was 7 years old, our next speaker, Abram Meyer, is no stranger to orchestrating her own future and that of her fellow FFA members when it comes to agriculture. Originally from Reedland, Iowa, Abram was elected to the 2015-2016 National FFA Officer Team as Central Region Vice President at the 88th National FFA Convention and Expo this past October. She is currently a sophomore at Iowa State University, majoring in agriculture business. Please join me in welcoming your 2015-2016 National FFA Central Region Vice President, Abram Meyer.
Give me a big old bucket of popcorn, a large Coke, or down here in South Carolina, I'd take a large sweet tea, kick my feet up, and watch a movie. Make some noise if we love movies. Yes. Now, action movie lovers out there, let's hear it. We got a few. Comedy, make some noise. And boys, I know this one is for you. Make some noise if you love those chick flicks. Well, growing up in my house, I loved watching movies, and one of my favorite was Wizard of Oz. I was on that level of I would imitate the little munchkins. I'd be like, follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road. And I even had my very own pair of ruby red slippers. And I'd stand in my living room and close my eyes and tap my heels together and say, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. And then my mom would look at me what in the world is that girl doing? She's standing right in the living room. But in those moments, I think back, maybe there is no place like home because home really isn't a place at all. Home is more than the physical structure we live in. Home is those people who we love and surround ourselves with. Home is those memories we make both through the triumphs and the trials. Home is a firm foundation that we build our lives upon. Home is where the heart is. We must build our home, help others to build their home, and then ultimately protect that home. Now, as a kid, I was a sports lover at heart. Make some noise if we love sports out there. Yes. And one of my favorite sports of all time was baseball. My brother and I would grab our mitts, run home after school, and we would try out every day, making our catches and our throws as best as possible. But this summer day was a very special one because I was the new owner of my very first baseball bat. My dad had gotten home from work early, and I was about to put in some batting practice. Now, I don't know whoever thought it was a good idea to give a 9-year-old an aluminum object to swing around, but this day was about to be very, very big. So I strut out to the backyard. My dad is going to post up as the pitcher, and my brother as the catcher. I take my spot, plant my feet, and Dad starts throwing the pitches. And connection right off the bat, because I'm holding it back, I am making home run after home run. And we're talking like cornfield home runs because we're in the middle of nowhere, Iowa. And this day couldn't get any better. And then Dad starts to warm up a little bit and throws a little faster. And all of a sudden, and it's like strike after strike after strike, and I'm thinking, shoot, there must be something wrong with this bat. I wind up one more time, and Dad throws the pitch, and okay, I've had it now. I gotta like blow off some steam. I walk around a little bit. I'm ready to go. And this time, I plant my feet firmly in the ground, stare down my dad, and in some 9-year-old way, I'm like, you're going down, old man. So he gets that ball ready. I know that this is going to be the hardest one he's thrown. I am gripping this bat, knuckles as white as paper, and he throws the pitch and connection. I'm like, cornfield home run? No, cornfield grand slam, people. Looking for it, looking for it. I can't find it anywhere, and I look at my dad, and his jaw has dropped to the ground. I look at my mom, who's like on the back porch, been reading Good Housekeeping or Better Homes and Gardens or whatever moms read, and she's got this horrified look. And that's when I hear it. Oh! You see, that connection that I had made was really not a home run or a grand slam at all. It was actually a foul tip that comes flying back, nailing my brother in the face, and sends him plummeting to the ground. And for the next 2 weeks, I would tell everybody at school that I gave my brother a black eye. And as I look at that picture and think back on those moments, it was in those times in the backyard playing baseball together, running around on sports trips, that I was building my home. Whether it was that quality time with my parents or the memories I made with my brother, every single moment was adding that building block to my home. FFA members, we must build our homes. For some of us, it may be investing that couple extras of hours in the gym, putting up some shots, or maybe out on the field, or maybe in the wrestling room, or on the volleyball court. For some of us, it might be playing that fiddle like our gentleman before, or practicing an instrument till our fingers hurt, or singing till our voices are gone. Maybe some of us like to get our hands dirty in the fields, working in our garden, or out in the crop field, or maybe even working with our livestock. It's building our home by investing in those people and those memories that will make for a lifetime of experiences. Now, some of us may be thinking, ooh, Abra, it's not that easy for me. I don't have those people around me who love me back home like you do, and I don't really get involved in school like you do. But maybe for some of us, then that means to invest some more time around our ag teacher and those fellow FFA members who build us up and help us to build our home. Once we build our home, we must help others to build theirs. Now, road trips have been one of my favorite things as a kid and now into college, and let's make some noise if we also love going on road trips. Road trip, yeah. So back a couple years ago, I took a road trip down to the great destination of Juarez, Mexico. Now, for those of you who maybe don't know a ton about Juarez, let me cue you in a little bit. Population 1.3 million people, settled just south of El Paso, Texas, on the Mexican border. And at the time, it was the most dangerous city in the world. So every reason for a small town girl from 800 people in my hometown, 18 years old, to go traveling with 11 strangers to a foreign country, right? Wrong, but I was like, sign me up. And then my mom was like, stay at home. But I packed my bags up, loaded it into the car with these strangers, and was headed down for a mission trip. We arrive at the building site, and my mindset begins to change because now we are outside of a city with barren land all around, tattered barbed wire, and trash that lay all over the ground. The first day, we lay the cement brick for the foundation of this house that we are going to build, and I'm starting to think, shoot, I signed up for way more than I thought. It's the day after Christmas. I could be at home with my family right now, spending quality time with them, and I'm down here putting myself to work. And day after day, we're putting in work, and the week is starting to unfold much differently than I had expected. But as the week unfolded, I began to realize that it was unexpected in one of the best ways possible. You see, in all of the time of hammering the nail into the wood and laying that concrete and getting completely dirty from head to toe, some of the greatest memories of my life were made in that week. We brought soccer balls for the little kids and new soccer shoes that were the shiniest things you could ever see. And the kids were absolutely joyful as they got to put on shoes for the first time in their lives. Kick around an object that was brand new, even though it's something we simply live with every day. The little girl's eyes lit up bigger than this room as her nails were painted for the first time, and had seen something so magnificent that we just see as an everyday thing. I didn't have social media or any service down there, and it was a sacrifice to put my phone away, but at the same time captured some of the best pictures that will resonate so many memories that words can't even tell. All of this happening, it didn't happen until the last day that I realized just what was so unexpected. It was at the dedication ceremony of the house, and we stand around praying on the family as we're about to depart, and the wife says something that I will never forget. She said, "In front of us stands this beautiful house that you have built us. But this is not yet our home." She said, "What makes this our home is the memories we've experienced with all of you who have been here this week. It's the relationships that we'll share as we raise our little boys, and all the times that are spent growing together as a family." As I returned home, I realized that Juarez, Mexico would forever have a piece of my heart because it was in that week that those people were helping me to build my home. You see, those 11 strangers had just become 11 of my best friends. That family helped me realize that there is much more joy to be found than in simple objects that we experience every day, but in relationships and memories that will last absolutely a lifetime. So what are you doing to help others build their home? People in your home, in your school, your communities, and your chapters need your help. For us in these Blue Jackets, it may simply be inviting over that classmate after school and showing them that we care. It could be simply waving at somebody in the hallway and telling them to have a great day with a smile. Or maybe it's just showing people what the FFA has to offer in building up a home. For parents and teachers in the room, maybe some of us need to ask our student or our child how their day is going beyond what's happening in the classroom. We must help others to build their home. And now some of us may be thinking, hey bro, I have my own home built, I am good to go. But ponder this for a second. What good is our mansion that we've built up ourselves if it's surrounded amongst the slums of everyone else's? Our home is where the heart is. And once we help others to build that home, we must ultimately protect that home that we've built. Now take a trip with me back to Northeast Iowa, where I grew up, and beyond the baseball fields, it was a small town that I grew up in, which meant a pretty darn small school too. I had 6 kids in my class through the 8th grade, and that meant that we were combined in the classrooms. But regardless of how jam-packed we were in with all of the other grades, the favorite part of the day for every single elementary school kid was what? Recess. So I run out to the playground. I am pumped to take on the recess field day after day. And although we were jam-packed into those rooms, my best friend was in the other classroom, and we would meet out on the playground because we knew that it was about to go down. We took over the kickball fields, we had those home runs going, and Foursquare, we would hit it down and hope that we could take somebody out while we were doing it. And it was just a joyful time that we had together, but today was a little bit different. I ran out to the school grounds ready to get this recess started, but when I made eye contact with my friend across the playground, he was not in the same exciting mood as I was. He kind of walked around with his head down and just didn't really participate in anything during that time. I was pretty little, so I didn't think much of it. I was going to have a good time on the playground, and I head back inside after recess is over and proceed on with my day. The time ticks by, and it's time to head home on the school bus. So I hop on. We didn't have iPods at the time. We had these little Walkman CD players, so I've got my little Walkman because I'm super cool. Pop my headphones in, and I am jamming. And then my friend hops on the bus once again. Waiting for him to proceed to the back of the bus, he takes a seat right in the front. And again, I don't think much of it, and I just continue jamming. We get on our way, and all of a sudden, I hear a boy in his class from the back of the bus yell up, "You're a crybaby! You're a crybaby!" And that boy, sitting in the front, stands up from a seat, turns around, and yells back, "Shut up!" And with tears running down his face, sits back down in his seat and stares out the front window. In that moment, I realized I wasn't protecting my home. I wasn't protecting my brother. I could have simply walked up to check to make sure he was okay, and I didn't even do that. What are you doing to protect your home? When it comes to those things that we really stand firm in, what are we doing to show that they are our strong beliefs? I get that high school is an uncomfortable place, and the last thing that we want to do is step out of our comfort zone to stand up for what is right and maybe not so popular. But we must protect that home, because home is where the heart is. Now, as we think about protecting our home, what are we doing to show those loved ones that we care about them? When it comes to those memories that we love to make, what are we doing to invest time into them to make those memories? When it comes to our convictions, what are we doing to stand firm in them? If the four walls of our physical house were torn down, would we still have a place to call home? Home is more than the physical structure we live in. Home is the memories we make both through those triumphs and those trials. Home is the people who we love and surround ourselves with. Home is a firm foundation that will wither any storm that life throws our way. Home is where the heart is. We must build our home, help others to build their home, and ultimately protect that home. Because wherever we are in life, South Carolina FFA, there is no place like home.
Thank you for sharing your words of wisdom with our FFA members. We are delighted that you could join us for our 89th South Carolina FFA State Convention. Please take this as a token of our appreciation. And at this moment, I'll turn the chair back over to our State President, Katie Martin.
Before we adjourn this meeting, I would like to invite everyone to the Pickens County Career and Technology Center for a night of ice cream, games, music, and friendship. Please join everyone from the close of this session until 11 tonight. Madam Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
Madam President, I have none.
Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this meeting? We are about to adjourn this third general session of the 89th Annual South Carolina FFA Convention. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent with labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Please join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance of the United States of America to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now declare this session adjourned.